Hello there, this is JD here from Studio 2105 and Direct Access Big Stream Online. In this tutorial video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I do the vocal thickening trick in Cubase using stock plugins. If you're new to the channel, a warm welcome to you. Do take a moment to head on down and click on the subscribe button below, and also click on the notification bell so that you'll be updated every time I upload a brand new video. Okay, a video tutorial such as this, my weekly update Wednesday videos, song breakdown videos, and also the mixed stream live streams, which I usually do on a Friday night. Now, for those of you who've been watching the mix streams especially, you'll know that every time, whenever it comes time to mix the vocals, to work with the vocals, I quite often use a method that's called the vocal thickening trick. Now, this is something which I learned from watching Warren Hewitt's channel, right? Warren Hewitt of Produce Like a Pro. I use this method almost all the time when I'm dealing with vocals, okay? In my mix stream episodes, I use a plugin called Doubler, which is from Waves. Okay, let me show you what it is. This one, Doubler 2 Stereo. So what this does is that it's a combination of, obviously as the name implies, it's a doubler. You could double maybe 2 and up to maybe 4 voices as well. You could pan it, you can add delay, you can put some feedback, or you can also, detune it and put some sort of a modulation, and also you can also EQ it as well. So, it's a combination of a delay, it's a combination of chorusing, of the detuning, pitch shifting, and also having a built-in EQ, right? So it's really, really powerful. Now, so what I do is I will route the lead vocal, all right, into the plugin, and I would set, for example, a detune value of +3 on one side and -3 on the other. And then I will export the resulting effect, okay, making sure that it's 100% wet effect down as an audio track, okay. Why do I export it as an audio track? Why don't we just keep it at the plugin and just run the effect through it? Now, for me, I think the rationale or the reason why, okay, we want to export it and bounce it down as a vocal track is that it kind of gives us a little bit more flexibility later on. It's a lot easier to further EQ or automate or do stuff to the doubler effect track, all right, once it's bounced down, once it's exported to an audio track. Okay, so although it takes a little bit more time, well, I feel that it's worth the it's worth the effort, it's worth the time taken, right? Just because of the amount of flexibility that it gives you as the mixer later on. So let me just very quickly kind of show you. Now, as I mentioned, this is actually repeated, right, a total of 4 times. You can take a look here. So it's repeated a total of 4 times. So what I end up with is like the first set, okay, the first track that's exported from Doubler is a +3, -3, okay, and we repeat it 3 more times, right? The second time around, we go -6 and +12. And why, if you notice, all right, I switch around the positive and negative values of the pitch shifting, the detuning, all right, separately, right? So for the first one, +3 is on the left, -3 is on the right. The second one, we go to -6 on the left and +6 on the right. The reason we do that is that if you kind of keep your positive values, right, your positive meaning tuning it sharp only on one side, and your negative values, right, meaning that you're tuning it flat on the other side, you're going to get a weird sounding a vocal which is kind of skewed sharp to one side and flat on the other. That's going to sound really, really weird. So what you want to do is you want to even it out. So when it gets to the next one, you switch around, right, your detuning, right? So next one you go to would be +9 on the left, right, the -9 on the right, and finally it will go to a -12 on the left and a +12 on the right, as you can sort of see here. Okay, you can detune, change the detune values, right, all the way from +-3 all the way to +-12. Now, we don't go beyond that, because I think if you start going beyond that, if you start going above this, it starts to get a little bit sounding a little bit out of tune, and this will, well, unless you're kind of going for some kind of special effect, usually this is not what you wanna. It kind of goes a little bit way sounding too out of tune already. All right, let's take a quick listen to how this effect sounds. Okay, all right. This is using Waves Doubler 2.
Your love lifted me from distress. I was lost in my mess.
This is with.
And you gave me new breath.
This is without.
Love amazing, unyielding too. I would have died without you.
This is with again.
But your love brought me through.
All right, so in the mix that I have, this is a little bit subtle. So let me try and sort of maybe exaggerate it a little bit so that you can hear how it sounds, okay? So let's bring up all the doubler tracks, which are down here. Okay.
Your love lifted me from distress.
Right. So this is definitely
I was lost in my
right. This is definitely a little bit more obvious, a little bit more clear if you're watching this. So, but in the mix, right, in the context of the mix with all the rest of the musical instruments, right, and the other vocals and the rest of the track, this is probably a little bit too much. So, you just want to balance it in. You blend in the double tracks, right, just to give the vocal a little bit sense of fatness, a little bit more stereo width, right, and a little bit more sort of airiness as well. So that is the kind of the vocal thickening trick, right, in a nutshell. Now, what if you don't have, you see, you know, a plugin suite or a plugin bundle, for example, like the one from Waves, okay? Right. So what you can do, you can also do this trick, all right, using stock plugins, all right? For example, in this situation, I'm going to kind of demonstrate how I do it, right, in Cubase. So first of all, let's mute this. And what I've prepared over here, okay, is a couple of stock plugins that come in with Cubase, okay? So first one I have is the stock plain old chorus. Now, before we go into that, now Cubase actually has a plugin here that actually does this job already, okay? All right, which is called Cloner. So Cloner, as you can see, right, it also splits your vocal into 4 voices, right? And you can also do things like humanize the timing, play around with the stereo width, the amount of a delay, the amount of detune as well. So it's really cool. So this is already itself a stock plugin in Cubase. Okay. Now, maybe let's take a quick listen to how this sounds. Let me route this over to the effect itself. Let's take a listen to this section. Right. So this is just the lead vocal alone, right, going into Cloner, right, that's in Cubase.
Your love lifted me from distress. I was lost in my mess.
Okay, I bring down the humanized value a little bit.
Love amazing, unyielding too.
So cool, right? It kind of gives you that similar effect as well, all right? So if you're a Cubase user, you can also kind of explore this. All right, so let's take a look, okay, at how we're going to do this if we just have, let's say, a stock chorus plugin, okay? So let's take a look. Now, what I've done here is I've just called up a preset in here, a simple preset, right, which is called wide backing vocals, because why not, okay? And let's just take a listen to how it sounds like.
Your love lifted me from distress. I was lost in my mess.
Okay, all right. So this is kind of pretty much what you expect from a chorus effect. Okay, you know, it gives a little bit of stereo widening. Okay, and just a little bit more dimension to the vocal. But this is not really as rich or as thick sounding, okay, as the vocal thickening method that I'm using Cloner, which I showed you earlier, or as I do in my mixes, right, with Waves Doubler. So what we need to do here, the trick is that we need to introduce, right, firstly, a little bit of extra modulation to it. And how do we do this? All right. So firstly, what we need to change is maybe the pitch, right? So now every DAW would have some kind of method, right, to sort of change the pitch of their clips, right? In Cubase, you can pretty much do it right in here in the info line. Just sort of select the audio events that you want to pitch shift, that we want to process. In this case, the same section that we heard. And let's fine tune this. Let's go, let's say maybe, all right, let's go, let's say 5, okay? Let's go 5. And let's export this. Okay, chorus, let's call this chorus +5. Make sure that it's the correct file path, file format. Now, if you are, if your DAW has it, all right, have the option to sort of immediately create that file and import that file back in the project. I have it do so. This will save you a little bit of time, okay? So let's go. This is going to be exported through the chorus effect. And here we go. This is the first one. All right. So we're going to repeat this process another 3 times. All right. Let's go with another value. Let's say the next one. Let's pitch this guy. Let's pitch the vocals down. Let's say -5 this time round. Okay. Now, for the next one, you would want to introduce not only the pitch shift, but maybe a little bit of delay as well. Okay. Now, this plugin in the chorus plugin inside Cubase has a bit of a delay, has a delay setting in here, so you can sort of delay it a little bit later. Let's bring it up to say 35 milliseconds. Okay. Right, 30 milliseconds. Okay, that's kind of the furthest that it'll go. So the important thing, right, is that you want to have some variation between each of the tracks which you're going to be exporting, because otherwise, if they're too similar, they're too close to each other, what tends to happen is that, you know, they tend to sort of cancel each other out. You get a kind of very, very phasey sound instead of getting a thick vocal, right? So which is kind of counterproductive to what you want to achieve. So let's try this. Okay, let's export this one. Chorus -5 this time around. Here we go. Okay, that's the second one, and it's done. And let's go with the next one. Let's bring this up to, let's say, +10. Okay, all right, +10. Let's play around with the delay again. Let's go, let's say this time a little bit shorter, 15 milliseconds, and export. Chorus +10. Okay, plus, here we go. Oops, over here. +10, export audio. And for the last one, okay, let's do the same thing, right? Let's put in a little bit more of a delay as well. And let's see, okay. Let's go with, let's say 25, to about 25.6 milliseconds. And let's pitch shift this down let's go a little bit further than maybe -12, okay? All right, export, chorus, -12. All right, let's take a listen then to how it sounds, all right? So once this is done, let's route the lead vocal back to the lead vocal bus, all right? The lead vocal group. Same thing. Okay, here we go. Let's bring these guys up so that it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so here we go. These are the 4 exported chorus tracks. Let's take a listen of these chorus tracks, right? The so-called double tracks on its own. See how it sounds like.
Love lifted me from distress.
All right, okay. This is a little bit soft, so maybe I need to turn the gain up on these a little bit. Let's go, let's say maybe 6 dB up. All right, let's copy it over so that it's a little bit easier for you guys to listen, right, while you're watching this. Let's listen to it again. Solo the chorus.
I was lost in my mess, and you gave me new breath.
All right, okay. So this is kind of a little bit more closer to what we got earlier with Waves Doubler and the cloner, right? Okay. So let's blend it in with the lead vocal. Let's see how it sounds like. Okay, lead vocal, and let's play it back.
Your love lifted
Okay, let's
me
blend all these in.
from distress. I was lost in my mess, and you gave me new breath.
All right. Okay. So, yep. Um, this is kind of how it sounds like. It's kind of similar. It's obviously a different flavor. To me, to my ears, it's still not as rich and not as and it's not as thick as employing the other methods and earlier methods, as I mentioned to you. Well, what you can probably do, again, you can always add a little bit more effects to it. You can probably play around. If you can mess around the different parameters, right? Maybe for each of these exports, the four tracks that we bounce out, maybe you change the speed of the chorus, right? Or maybe you add maybe a flanger, right? Or maybe a phaser instead of using a chorus, right? Mix this up, add some additional delay, pitch shift a little bit more, right? Right? Go crazy, be a little bit creative, right? The key point is that you want to try and introduce as much variation as much possible, right? Between the four tracks, right? The four doubler tracks, right? In this case, right? So that you can thicken the main vocal. You can make it sound thicker, a little bit wider, frequency range wise as well. You can make it a little bit more richer, especially in the top end. But not so much, right? Now, as I mentioned, right, if you don't introduce all those delays, the differences, what it ends up is that they start to sort of have a little bit of phase cancellation. They start to cancel each other out, and that gets to be counterproductive, okay, right, to what you are trying to achieve. So, all right, hopefully this short little tutorial will kind of shed a little bit light on what I talk about every time when I share, and every time I show the vocal thickening trick. All right, during my mixing episodes, do tune in, right, in the future, or you can always go back, right, to my channel and watch the previous episodes, okay, of mix stream live streams, which I usually do on Friday nights, okay. So now, if you found this video helpful and informative, right, please do leave a like, do share this with your friends if you can, and if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, all right. I'll really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again in another video in the future. Till then, all right, happy recording and mixing. Take care. Bye bye.